Hey everybody, can you guys hear me okay? Microphone's always jacked up. Every single time. Does nerd mean yes you can hear me or no you can't hear me? We hear the master nerd. Alright, that must be me. Hey, welcome everyone. We're gonna be knocking out some more CPL action. We had week 1. We're in week 2 right now. Last time we casted, we did tier 4 of the Bargain Bin Bonjwas versus Zero Effort ZeLoT Rush. And this time we're going to be doing some tier 3 matches. Now tier 3 is split, right? So doing the entirety of the group is a little bit too long. So I'm going to be doing half of the group, and then we'll see if later during the week I find an opportunity and I'll do the other half, or another caster for CPL will as well. So what we've got going on today is we're going to have Kayin, Medyas, and Puppette representing the Bargain Bin Bonjwas, and we have GeforceTesla, AZK3000, and chogaling representing the Zero Effort ZeLoT Rush. Now, as far as matchups are concerned, we've got ZVT to kick us off, we've got ZVZ after that, and then TVT. So we'll have to see how this goes when it comes to duration, because we've got some ZVZs that can go very fast, but then we also have some TVTs that could go and take a long time. But I was feeling like doing some casting, so we'll knock out these series. Each one is a best of 3, and then each of the matches are also happening on a predetermined set of 3 maps. I think it's like Radion, Polypoid, and let me double check the third one, Eclipse, right? In that order. So we'll go ahead and get after it. But first, we need to kick us off with the CPL anthem. And I don't think this is ever going to get old. This song just slaps so hard. So everyone, put your pants on and get your dance on.
Winners rise and losers fall, reflexes sharp, minds enthrall. Gamers play, this never ends. CPL, where legends play. CPL, we fight tonight. Let us sing the storyline. From the shadows to the dream, we are the Coach-Pupil League.
I wish they didn't make me do that. None of the other casters do the anthem, and I thought it was, I think it was a trick. One thing I also want to say before we get into this, as people are kind of joining in, trickling into the stream, all 2 of you. Right now, we have been getting some subs, we've been getting some follows, and at this point, the channel is making a little bit of money. I'm at $11.51, and I just wanted to throw out there that if you do have an additional Prime sub, that would be gratefully appreciated. Every time we hit 50, that payout that comes from Twitch is just going to get thrown straight into Starcraft Underground tournaments. And we haven't gotten there yet, but once we do, that's what we'll do. And every time we hit that $50 amount, it's just going to go straight into open tournaments. So just wanted to throw that out there. And without further ado, let's get into this match. It's going to be Kayin versus GeforceTesla. And we are going to be kicking it off on Radion. So here we go, and the scoreboard's all filled out correctly and everything. Very, very exciting. I do need to turn on the music, though. Sometimes I'll turn it off and play my own music. There we go. All right, so down here in the bottom right, we've got Kayin. That's probably the way to say it. I said kayin earlier, but it's probably like Kayin, like the spice. We got our spicy Zerg, our red Zerg, representing Bargain Bin Bonjwas. And then in the bottom left, we have our blue Terran, GeforceTesla. And yeah, Escalade, that is 2 beers. Or a whole 6-pack if you skip the bar and just go straight and get your own at the store. Now, I've never seen Kayin play. I've seen GeForce play a lot. I think most of the stuff I've seen GeForce play is Protoss. I might be mistaken. I'm mistaken a lot. Supply depot going down for GeForce. Overlord is going to be able to get first scout here, especially if GeForce goes to the natural and starts walling off or getting an expansion after the initial barracks. We do have a second Overlord showing up. No spawning pool yet, right? We've got the money, but maybe we're going to go into a hatchery. Two more drones, 3 more drones. We are at 12 supply. Yeah, it looks like we might be going into a 12 hatch, or maybe a 12 pool. Or maybe he'll just be making drones for the entirety of the game. We'll see what he decides to do here in just a moment. Sending 2 drones, one probably going to be a scout, the other one going to get that expo. There we go. Now SCV finally leaving GeForce's base to go scout himself. And a barracks being thrown down up here closer to the ramp. And it does look like 2 barracks are going to get thrown down side by side. And keep an eye out for additional casts. We have more casts coming for CPL Week 1. I think Breeze is going to be casting Saturday. At least that's the plan. So make sure you track down Breeze's Twitch and that you're ready to jump in on that. I think Staged actually is going to be planning to cast with him as well. So that should be a good time. And that'll be a representation of other teams. I know I've been doing this matchup between Bargain Bin Bonjwas and ZEZR for ZeLoT Rush, but Breeze is going to be doing the other 2. Which is Big Naturals and I forget the other one. I forget what the other one's name is. Oh yeah, Build Disorders. Gonna be getting 6 Zerglings here for a Zerg player. Marine shooing away this. Oh, he actually might get this Overlord. It does. That's gonna be supply blocking kayin there. Maybe a little bit of an oversight. Losing that Overlord for free. So we got the new barracks, pumping out Marines. Doesn't look like we're going for any type of expansion here yet for GeForce. He is gathering some funds. He is on gas. Likely see an academy go down here in just a second. No, just continuing to throw. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's already being built. We have the SCV in the Zerg's base. He is going to be seeing the Hydra Tech, but he's also seeing the lair. Creep colony being preemptively thrown down here at the natural. Now, I don't know if that's... I mean, it's good to just have nice safety cushion. He also expanded before getting pool. But I'm curious if the lack of the Overlord being able to see the move out and everything led to just knocking that out. If he doesn't have the vision, get the Sunken down. Might have been the school of thought. All right, GeForce is going to be running over here with 5 Marines, a couple more tagging behind. Now we've got the 6 Zerglings moving out here. Ooh, but caught a little out of position. One just gets schwacked. A couple more about to get mulched here by these Marines, but the Sunken is going to shoo them away. We have our first couple of Hydralisks entering the field. And we have the medics showing up. So not often that we see the early Marine pressure without the medics, but it can be very, very powerful, especially if this Sunken wasn't here. All right, going back for a little bit of extra. Marine count is higher. We've got some medics following along. And now, in response, we're having a second Sunken being thrown down here for the Zerg. Now, we do have a couple of Hydralisks, not a whole lot of Zerglings. And we'll have to see how this goes. I believe Stim was researched. I imagine it was researched. I missed it up in the little tab there. Yeah, there it is. He's stimming in. He's going to target fire down this left Sunken. But the Zergling's getting in here, targeting down the medics. And now we are down to just a handful of Marines. Are they going to be able to kill this Sunken in time? Pulling some of the drones, getting in the face of these Marines, adding some DPS. Now the Sunken goes down, but that's going to be the extent of that attack. Well, maybe not. These 3 Marines are running in. Might get 1 or 2 drones. And we're frantically making some Zerglings here to clean this up. Now, a few more Marines trickling in. And this is going to be a huge pain in the butt for our Zerg player. But we also have Mutalisks almost available as the Spire is just now getting completed. Okay, Marines are going to be forced to stim away, heading home, and throwing down a bunker to protect the expansion that GeForce just threw down. We did have a scan. So he had seen the Hydralisk tech earlier, but he was unable to get up here with that initial that first little push, and so he is going to now be able to see that there is a Spire and to expect Mutalisk play. Getting a third barracks, we have the eBay, getting +1. Things are looking okay. Kayin lost a couple drones back here. You know, the Sunkens got cleaned up, but really he had just enough to defend, which is always a good amount to have. Ooh, looks like maybe a missed rally. One of those barracks sending some medics. Oh no, another one. This one's not going to be seen though. Alright, so Mutalisk about to pop out. They're about halfway done. We've got one turret, two turrets down here at the natural. Zerglings poking out around in the front. We got one up here at the production, two down here in the mineral line. GeForce isn't screwing around. Making sure these mutas don't get in and get anything for free. Now this medic somehow survived. It like did a little loop-to-loop around the map. Oh no, and it aggroed some of these Zerglings in to the Marine fire. And GeForce is opting to get a second bunker here. Now here come the mutas. Running straight into those two turrets. They are going to get pushed back just a little bit. But this is always a scary part of the game for Terran. Now these two bunkers are going to help a lot. I'm trying to see if there's really not any opportunity to like thread the needle in here. But there is a world where maybe the Mutalisk can come up here, snipe this turret, and then sit on top of this production. I think that might be one of the more effective ways of doing damage with these mutas. We do have a factory going down here for our turn. Third hatchery for our Zerg player, in addition to a Queen's Nest and an Evo chamber. Okay, so now here come the Mutalisk. They're going to be able to delay this factory. Getting beat up a little bit by these turrets. He's going to try to dive in on top of the workers, but there is another well-placed turret down here on the southern side of GeForce's base. Okay, now he's found a spot where he can kind of hang out and harass within the Terran's base. So, going to be able to snipe some of these Marines, be extra annoying, but he's got to be careful. Yeah, these turrets are doing a lot of work here. The mutas are slowly falling to pieces. And there's only two left after that initial harassment. Oh no, we're going to lose another Overlord for free. Not supply blocked, but that's never a feel-good. Fourth barracks being built. Lots of Zerglings. Getting another scan. Okay, so GeForce trying to check and see how much the Zerg has expanded in this match. And not a whole lot. He's going to see that Zerg is instead opting to go up into Hive tech. I think Kayin might be hurting a little bit economically. Didn't get a lot of damage done with the Mutalisk. I like Terran's position here at this point in the game. Bioball is growing. The factory was completed. Getting +1 armor. And there's just not a whole lot for the Zerg. A good grip of Zerglings. But we'll have to see what he's able to get done with this Hive Tech. Not really producing much army right now. Alright, so these Marines and Medics are going to be able to just shred through these Zerglings and start heading towards the natural. Now, in response to this, we do have another sunken colony being built. Well, right now, creep colony. 2 creep colonies. And a bunch of Zerglings. Now, +1 melee is not going to be done by the time these Marines hit. And it looks like GeForce is about to dive in. Oh no. Okay, GeForce didn't... I think he had a window there where he might have been able to dive in and get a good amount of damage done. Maybe not, though. This is starting to become a lot of Zerglings. But kayin needs to be careful, because he's only at 18 drones. After making a bunch of Sunkens, using the larva for Zerglings, again, it comes back to the lack of economy here for a Zerg player. Fireball continuing to grow as GeForce kind of establishes this soft contain. He's got an SCV running around, trying to identify any expansions. He knows that there needs to be some sort of Zerg expansion out on the map. Alright, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. Okay, so kayin is starting to ramp up to get a bunch of cracklings out. He's getting the Zergling attack speed upgrade. He's getting +1 carapace to go along with his +1 melee. And if he can survive to when cracklings are fully upgraded, these Marines may be in trouble, but we have a dropship coming. And we'll see how much damage our Terran player can get by dropping up here in the main. This might be a little tricky from an APM and multitasking perspective, but if he can get some Marines up here or even into the mineral line, pull all these Zerglings back up the ramp and then try to hit these Sunkens, he may be in a pretty strong position. Alright, looks like that move is happening now. Oh no! Zerglings running out, getting shredded by that bio ball. I think he may have seen this, but we're not seeing much of a reaction. Ooh, a couple lurkers. Definitely can be helpful in defending. Continuing to elevate our troops up here. The Zerglings are just getting shredded, and now we have a tank. I can't believe the tank is able to hit up here as well. But the Zerglings are going to clean this up. Holy cow. Tank range. You gotta love it. Alright, Zergling's going to pounce on this unsieged tank. Gonna kill it. We've got lurkers hitting from the high ground. Some of these Marines down here that are trying to get into this choke. And we're at a little bit of a stalemate right now. Terran taking his third base. Trying to replenish his army that was pretty much just wiped out. You know, 2 dropships up here. The tank went down. We now have lurkers on the field. But Zerg needs to break out. Zerg is just going to lose the battle of attrition here if Terran is able to continue with the economy lead and just send wave after wave of Marines and medics into this. Oh, but we've got Ultras! Ultras, baby! Now, we do have the science vessels being produced. A whole bunch more of barracks being thrown down. A few tanks. But we'll see what the Ultras can make happen. Ultras are good. They're practicing on their own sunken colony. Creating the highway. And kayin's got a good amount of gas. I don't know if kayin's going to have the supply to break through all of this. What are the upgrades here? We've got 1-1 for the Marines. Okay, going for another drop. Now, if they drop on top of these lurkers, that might be a bad day for our Terran player. Oh, but it looks like he's going around. Or he's just looking for this expansion that doesn't exist. No, okay, he is going around. He's going to get around these lurkers. He's going to drop into the mineral line. And I think that's going to trigger our frontal assault down here at the natural. This might be absolutely devastating. These drones are just going to fall so fast. Alright, Zerg's trying to break out now. The Ultralists are getting in there, killing Marines. The siege tank goes down. 2 more unsieged. And here comes the Zerg flood. Gonna be able to break out, but we still have a ton of Marines up here in the main, killing all of Zerg's stuff. Now, what do we have here on defense? Not a whole lot. But in this base trade scenario, Terran is definitely favored. Okay, the bunker's holding their own against these Zerglings. We do have the science vessels on the field. One has an irradiate. I don't think Zerg has enough. Ultralisk getting into the fray. Being super derpy as they always are. Oh no. Alright, and now Zerg's going to come back and try to clean up the Terran. But the Marines and medics behind this mineral line is just so gross. The fact that they can even reach these buildings from where they are makes them so hard to get rid of. Sitting at 12 drones for our Zerg player. We got one lone Ultralisks trying to break the natural, and that's going to be the GG. GG! Alrighty, let's go ahead and update our score. We've got one for GeforceTesla, representing Zero Effort ZeLoT Rush. And let's go ahead and get into game number 2. Then I'll update the scorecard once we're on that screen. This one's going to be on Polypoid. So, another 4-player map. Let me fix this this score sheet here real quick. Whoops. Alright, so we are on Polypoid. We are... GeforceTesla has 1 win, and everything should look peachy. Excellent. Alrighty, so GeforceTesla up here in the top right. Our blue Terran representing Zero Effort ZeLoT Rush, just coming off a win against Kayin. Our red Zerg down here in the bottom left representing Bargain Bin Bonjwas. Last game we saw Kayin go for an early expansion. Or I guess just like a 12 hatch into pool. Meanwhile, we saw GeForce going 2 barracks, sending, well, it was like 5 Marines right off the bat without medic support. Just kind of poking in there, but Kayin was ready with a sunken. Able to hold that no problem. Staged, what's up, man? Alright, it looks like we might be seeing more of the same here from our Zerg player, but our Terran playing things up a little bit differently, opting to build a wall here at the natural. Got the 2 drones going over to the natural again, one going to expand, one heading off to scout. We'll be seeing another 12 hatch. And we do have a second barracks going down. So it looks like both players kind of sticking to their same build orders. Alright, so drone not spotting anything in the bottom right. Overlord coming over here. Not really in a position where they can confirm or deny that there's no Terran up in the top left. Hatchery, about halfway completed. Spawning pool is down. Gas is being mined. And then the second SCV is heading out for GeForce. This time getting 4 Zerglings. We'll see if he makes another pair. Nope. Decides to make a drone, going straight into lair. Neon Sword, my man. Good to see you. Thanks for all the puppies. I miss you, Neon Sword. Alrighty. Got 3 Marines sitting out here at the natural academy, going straight into 2 Rex Academy. Looks like a drone actually did get up here in the main. That was picked off. And we're seeing the Hydralisk Den again. So last time Kayin made the Hydralisk Den, only spit out like 2 Hydralisks, and then decided to go Spire after that. Only made a few Mutalisks, then went back into a couple Hydralisks to make Lurkers, but that was after going Hive Tech and really trying to make something happen with kind of the crackling technology. So SCV is going to come back in here, see the natural. Zerglings are going to stay up here on the ramp, prevent any easily identifiable tech so that SCV can't get up in there. Expansion for our Terran player. And Stim is being researched. Alright, going straight into Lurker Tech. We have 3 Hydralisks, 4 Hydralisks being produced. Zergling speed. We might see a little bit more of an aggressive push here being initiated by our Zerg player. We don't have a scanner yet. Don't see medics being produced as of yet. Instead, going into a factory. Alright, Zerglings are going to get rid of this SCV. Oh, but the SCV sees the Hydralisk. Okay, so GeForce, knowing he's about to see Hydralisk, potential lurkers, I would imagine potentially either getting that scanner or throwing down an eBay. And the Zerg's going to start heading across the map. Okay, Marine range. Lurker tech is completed. We've got 5 lurkers being morphed. And this is set up to be able to do a good amount of damage. Getting some medics out on the field. Going straight into machine shop and getting a scanner up. So we'll have to see how Kayin does with these lurkers as he approaches the natural. I imagine until siege mode's done, that tank's out, that he's going to probably be able to maybe pick off these depots and barracks. Well, the depots at least. The barracks can just lift off. Alright, here we go. Lurkers running up. Ooh, getting right up here on the wall. One does fall. But starting to shred these Marines. Zergling's getting thrown into the fray as well. And here we go. Okay, we're starting to see the supply depots go down. We'll see if that ends up blocking GeForce. Ooh, trying to move forward these lurkers, but GeForce was ready for it, able to pick off another one. Gonna need to lift up this barracks. Yep, okay, so it gets lifted. Another supply depot is going to go down. That is going to end up supply blocking our Terran player, but the tank is being produced already. And siege mode's just about complete. This is looking good for our Zerg player, though. Okay, another lurker is going to... Ooh, it survived! I thought for sure it was going to go down. Oh no, Marine's getting a little too close to try to take out these Zerglings. And the lurkers, within range of the ramp, really cutting off reinforcements. This might be all she wrote. We're starting to lose SCVs for our Terran player. Command center is being repaired. This is a stressful position. Okay, tank in the high ground. We get the scan. We're going to start losing lurkers now, but the lurkers can hit this on the high ground. The Zerglings are going to get up there, knock it out. And because of the supply block, there's no way to build another tank. Okay, we do get one. Some supply was opened up due to casualties. Oh, I think Zerg's got it. Kayin, after round 1, not looking to have that happen again, is charging right in here and just absolutely annihilating our Terran hero. GG gets called. Good game. Good game. All right, let's go ahead and update the scorecard before I forget. Okay, so we're at 1-1 now. So Kayin getting on the board here for the Bargain Bin Bonjwas. Let's see who ends up taking game number 3. Or I guess I should say the series, right? Who ends up taking the series? (1-1). Excelente. Moving on, finding replays. All right, game 3, and this one's going to be on Eclipse. And Eclipse is always interesting because it's 2 players, which means that it is always open to amazing little shenanigans. I want to see a 4 pool. That's what I want to see. All right, here we are on Eclipse. Okay, yeah. Okay, I see that Escalade. I thought GeForce was primarily a Protoss player. It's shocking that I wasn't 100% certain on that. But yeah, GeForce off-racing his Terran this season. But anyway, kayin, our red Zerg, coming off a decisive victory that last round, sitting at 1-1 and representing the Bargain Bin Bonjwas is going to be spawning up here in the top right. Now, and here in the bottom left, we do have our blue Terran GeforceTesla, representing Zero Effort ZeLoT Rush. So let's see what happens. Now, when it comes to scores for this round, and we're tallying up kind of like who's winning between Bargain Bin Bonjwas, who's winning, well, between them and Zero Effort ZeLoT Rush, I just want to remind everyone that this is only half of Tier 3. So Tier 4, we saw the results of that in the last cast, but we're only doing half of this group today. So it'll be inconclusive at the end of this stream as to which team won that tier. All right, getting an Overlord out. Looks like maybe another 12 hatch. Both players sticking to their guns, sticking to their builds. Okay, we are sending a scout. Overlord heading across. Hatchery looks like kayin might be preparing to throw down an early sunken. Again, probably a result of this map being the way it is. Spawning pool being thrown down here. Getting the gas. Excellent, excellent. Around this time, we should be seeing a second barracks from GeForce if he's sticking to what he's been doing. Now the SCV is going to be up here in the main, and it's going to see the gas, going to see the spawning pool. Not really a whole lot yet to determine what's going on, but does know that this was likely a 12 hatch. All right, so it looks like we're seeing a little bit of a deviation. It looks like we're going to go 1 barracks expand for our Terran player. And the SCV is still up here, bebopping around, doing its thing. We've got 2 pairs of Zerglings being morphed. Straight in a lair. And this is also going to be observed by GeForce. So GeForce probably thinking, okay, time to prepare for Mutalisk play. Zergling's going to chase this SCV around a bit. All right, both players just powering up, doing their thing, chilling, straight chilling. I also want to note, I finally got some sweet creamer, so I don't have to deal with that 0 sugar nonsense anymore. That was a bad day. I legitimately thought there was something wrong with the coffee. I think the brand of the creamer is... What is it? Shoot, I don't even remember. We just switched, like, creamer brands. Yeah, the Chobani creamer. It's not that, but we did recently try that out. I don't know what this one is. Alright, so SCV getting a little too close to the sunken. Gets popped. And we got the Spire being thrown down here behind the mineral line. Okay, now the SCV did see the layer, saw kind of all the indications that we were going to be seeing, kind of like the 2-hatch muta play. And what I would expect here is we've got stim being researched, we've got the eBay being thrown down so we can get the turrets out. But we're still on 1 barracks. Lifting the barracks, throwing down a bunker. Ooh, gonna maybe snipe this Overlord. But we gotta keep producing Marines. So we don't want to lift this up and fly it around too much. Okay, eBay's down. We're getting our 2nd barracks. And stim is just now finishing. Alright, now we've got 5 Mutalisks on the way, plus 1 air weapons. We do have a turret going down somewhere. Was it here at the natural? I didn't see it. Yeah, oh, okay. Nope, that's a ComSat station. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's by the bunker. So, this mineral line's still vulnerable. We do have a grip of Marines here. Getting another scanner. Plussing up our barracks count to 3. Getting a factory. Oh, no, I guess it's just 2. We lifted that one off at from the natural. And here comes the mutas. I think the mutas have pretty good opportunity to do a lot of damage. Now, there's 4 turrets being thrown down. But we don't want to stop. We don't want to pause. We want to get in there and start doing damage. And this is why, right? These are still being constructed. They just finished right in the nick of time. And they are going to be pushed away. Okay, so I think they got maybe a couple SCVs for the effort there. Now, do we have more Mutalisks? We have a couple more being produced. Another hatchery, and we're throwing down a Hydralisk den. Alright, we're getting our medics. We don't want to just have a sausage party. Got one out here. And the metas are going to try to find another avenue of attack. Throwing down a couple turrets here, like, just again in the nick of time. Because if these Mutalisks had just wrapped around very quickly and started hitting up here, they would have been able to delay this, this add-on potentially, the barracks. Sitting at 7 mutas. And by the way, there's 214 days, plus or minus 15, until the Toronto Starcraft land. Uh-oh. These Mutalisks are in trouble right now. Alright, they're finding a little spot here. The supply depot is actually not setting GeForce up for success. Oh man, but there's so many turrets. Another Mutalisk goes down. They're just not getting a ton of the value that kayin, I'm sure, is hoping for. This is tricky to do. Down to 4 Mutalisks. What we have going on back in the base? We've got a few Hydralisks here. I think a few more are being produced. We've got Lurker Tech being upgraded. Bioball's looking pretty big. And we're down to 1 Mutalisk sitting outside the base. So now's the time that GeForce is looking to probably push. And he's bringing a tank along. This looks like a scary push, and there's no way to harass this or slow it down because all the mutas have died. We're getting our lurkers, getting more Hydralisks, more Zerglings, but we have the scanners ripping and ready to go. So I don't know how much these lurkers are going to be able to do. Let's see what happens. How many Sunkens do we have? We have 2 Sunkens. I think we're at risk here, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is scary for our Zerg player. Now the Terran is kind of consolidating. GeForce getting his army all together. The lurkers come out here, but it gets scanned immediately. Now it's going to push this back a little bit. Oh man, but the Zerglings are just getting mowed down. No, the lurkers! Lurkers trying to jump on this, all get wiped out. There's a couple more back here with the Sunkens, which is going to help a lot. But he's going to have to get in here and try to take this tank out. But it's being protected by this huge bio ball. And I'm a little concerned here. I don't think there's much that our Zerg player can do. We might see a Hail Mary attempt at knocking out this tank. Oh, another big scan. second tank showing up. The Sunkens are down. And here come the Zerglings. Get it, boys! And they just get completely eviscerated here. And that's the GG. That's going to give GeForce the 2-1 victory over kayin and a win for the zero effort ZeLoT Rush. GG. All right, let's go straight into our second series of the day. This is going to be a ZVZ. So we're getting kind of all the flavors of Zerg versus Terran. We're getting Zerg versus Terran, Zerg versus Zerg, and then Terran versus Terran. So let's go ahead, jump into that. If I can find it. All right, medyas versus AZK, ZVZ. Very dynamic, very aggressive, very fast. We're going to be here on Polypoid, which seems out of order. I might have done these this out of order, because I think Polypoid's map number 2. But speaking of maps and players, let me go ahead and fix our scoreboard, because it has the wrong players being represented there. Let's fix this. For red, we've got, well, actually for red, we've got medyas. I mean, he's blue here, but he's on the Bargain Bin Bonjwas. And then for zero effort ZeLoT Rush, we've got AZK 3000. He's going to be Zerg. And here we go. And then we are also looking at Polypoid. Okay, our score sheet thing here in the bottom left should be accurate now. All right, Zerg versus Zerg. Always extremely volatile. We've got down here in the bottom right, AZK 3000 in the red, and up here in the top left in the blue, we've got medyas. And I think we casted some medyas during preseason, so it's good to see him again. Both players sending overlords to the top right. And what I'm going to try to pay attention to is differences in these players' builds. Right now, everything is on par. AZK for some reason has a good amount more money earlier. Well, earlier. Now we're seeing a difference, right? So we're seeing AZK go up into a 12 pool, and we saw medyas throw down a 9 pool, or an over pool. Getting the gas here for AZK. Okay, so this looks like it's already setting up to be one of those games where it's medyas needs to kill AZK with Zerglings before AZK can get medyas out. that's generally whenever I see this play pattern with the two different Zerg players going these two different routes, that's what it comes into. It's like a clock. Like, how fast can you kill them before they get medyas if you're doing this difference in build. AZK looks like he's going to be throwing down an expansion here. Medyas already has his underway. And to be fair, there's also a world where he's just using this gas to get speed. But we'll see. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Gas being thrown down for medyas. And neither player having scouted the opponent's base yet. Pumping out a good amount of lings here. Got 8 for medyas, 6 for AZK, 8 for AZK. And right now both players sitting equal on drone count. Now we are going up to the layers, so it does look like AZK is looking to get that Spire out. Get those Mutalisks ripping and rolling. Medyas, you can see, hasn't put on gas yet, or at least did briefly. Maybe he's got speed. Yeah, okay, so he got enough to get speed. And he's going to be doing kind of the Zergling play. So yeah, it kind of goes back to that earlier discussion of can medyas kill AZK before he gets a bunch of mutas out. And right now, both players just chilling in their base, which I think is better for AZK. Medyas with a slight drone advantage, sitting at 12. Throwing down another hatchery. And there's the spire. Okay, so first circling from AZK does actually run into Medyas' base, sees where he's at, sees a whole ton of lings, and here they come. Speed is finished up. Medyas is sending them across the field. A couple more trickling out here for AZK, and he's going to be able to see this Congo line of lings heading straight towards his base. He's going to have to prepare. He's throwing down a creep colony, but it's going to take a minute for that to become a sunken. Looks like this drone might be trying to do another one. And here we go. Unfortunately for Medyas, these lings trickling in is going to give AZK the advantage in this fight. Oh, wow. Okay, so AZK holding that push, but here comes the additional lings from the flood that Medyas is trying to execute. He's got 3 hatcheries pumping. The sunken has completed. Can Medyas finish this out before that spire finishes and some mutas finish it? There's no, one pair of lings being created for AZK? This might be it. Medyas trying to pick off some stray drones down here in the natural. And he got up the ramp. Okay, so we see the ling dance. Getting a creep colony here in the mineral line. And Medyas is just going to target down the spire. We don't have any mutas being generated here yet for AZK. And I think right now, Medyas is sitting with a pretty significant advantage. Now, AZK does kick those lings out of the main. Has a slight ling, maybe it was an advantage. And Medyas is back at it, and this time with a significant amount of lings. Targeting down that spire again. Again, no mutas being morphed, and even at this point in time, it might be a little too late. Gonna focus down this sunken. Drone's trying to drill and try to protect it, adding some DPS to the fight. Taking up surface area so the lings can't get a hard surround there, but they do end up taking down the sunken, and we're at 4 drones, 0 drones. GG! Medyas takes game number 1. Alright, going through that there on our scoreboard. Let's go ahead and go to this one. Get this one updated. Alright, ZVZ. So fast. So furious. So zergy. Alright, let's go into game number 2. Now, let me double check as well. Because like I said, I felt like that was out of order. That might have just been the players. Okay. No, they're labeled this way. I guess that was game 1. Let's go ahead and go into game number 2. This one's going to be on Radeon. Another 4-player map. Alright, score sheet's all squared away. Alrighty! So for 0 effort, ZeLoT Rush. Our red Zerg, AZK 3000 spawning up here in the top right. Medyas down here in the bottom right. Our blue Zerg representing Bargain Bin Bonjwas. You know, in addition to kind of that pattern I was talking about where it's like, okay, one player's rushing Mutalist, one player's doing the Zergling rush. In the games that I've been casting so far for CPL in these lower tiers, like 3-4 tiers in preseason as well, it seems like the player going the Ling rush tends to win. That seems to be kind of the pattern. We'll see what happens this game. We'll see if AZK adjusts his build. Or maybe Medyas does. Because last game, both players really just kind of sat back. And they had a lot of time to build up lings. And that was definitely in the favor of Medyas. Well, I thought it was going to be in the favor of AZK. But Medyas hit right before the mutas were really trying to come out. So he had as much lings as possible. And there just wasn't a whole lot of like sunken support or anything. Alright, going for a 9 pool again, over pool, I should say. And then up here, we've got a hatchery being thrown down early here for AZK, in addition to his spawning pool. All right, so already seeing a little bit of a difference here from AZK. I think last time he waited until he had 12 drones. Looks like Medyas might be trying to expand here as well. Now, I don't know Zerg pretty much at all, or anything for that matter, but I feel like if AZK uses this early expansion and the early gas to get early Zergling speed and pump Zerglings, or prioritize Zerglings, then he should have more than Medyas at a certain point and be able to push across and get some effective damage. Because Medyas is just going to be a little bit behind. Now, we already have 100 gas. And we do have speed. Okay, so AZK is going speed upgrade. But AZK still hasn't scouted where Medyas is. So sending 6 Lings down here to the south might get lucky. He knows he's not in the top left. But there's already a bunch of Lings down here for Medyas. There's already 8. Needs to be careful not to trickle them in, lose one at a time. We'll see how this engagement goes. A lot of times we'll see Zerglings form like a little wall right here or up on the ramp. Okay, so AZK pulling back just in the nick of time before he loses Zerglings one at a time to Medyas. And we see kind of the flood coming, right? So this is what I was thinking. If he can get in here... Now, speed's not done yet, but when his speed does kick in, that's going to be a power spike for a red Zerg player. How many do we have here? We've got 11 versus the 12. Okay, a few more coming in for AZK. Huge Zergling battle going down. Zerglings are dying all over the place. Trying to run here into the main, ends up losing a couple more Zerglings. AZK not getting any economic damage here, but more Lings are going to be flowing in from behind. And Medyas continuing to produce Lings himself is going to be able to hold this. But here comes the second flood. This is so hard to like observe. It's like, where do I look? Okay, the AZK Lings do get knocked down in the mineral line. It looks like Medyas was about to head out. Oh no, were they just moving? I don't know if they were attacking there. Oh, there's some Lings here under the Overlord. Didn't even notice them. Okay, so a few Lings are going to get up here in the main. This has forced... Oh no, I thought that was going to be a sunken, but we've got another hatchery going down for Medyas. Get those additional larvae. But AZK is keeping the aggression on. And has his own third hatchery being built as well. Okay, AZK not going to be able to take this fight head on. Looks like he's going to try to run around, pick off drones as they're popping out. Oh man. He's going to try to go up into the main again. Now Medyas is keeping these Lings back. Okay, it looks like he has grabbed them up. Now how many drones can he knock out here? This might do a decent amount of damage. He's at least impacting the mining with delayed mining time. But the problem is that Medyas is doing a pretty good job of just conserving his Ling count. And eventually, there's just going to be too many. Unfortunately, these Lings move commanding right by. One of them almost going down. Another wave coming from AZK. AZK is just sending them. Making Lings and sending them. Keeping that pressure on. Pretty all in at this point. Okay, oh man, more Lings trickling in, getting hit kind of on the run by, really focusing on this drone line. Medyas about to have 6 more Lings pop out. Already has 8 on the field. Oh no, encountering AZK's Lings, you know, 1 pair at a time coming across the map. AZK trying to sneak by again. But what's at home? It looks like Medyas might be grabbing the initiative here. Okay, I thought for a second there he was going to chase those drones, but no, Medyas is trying to take the fight and put it back into AZK's base. Still has the Ling advantage, and oh no, this could be devastating for our red Zerg player. This hatchery being targeted down. It is... Zerglings are so good. Like, the DPS here is insane. That hatchery going to go down. We're starting to see drones getting into the fight. And this looks like it might be it. It looks like Medyas is likely to take this series 2-0 over AZK. And there's the GG. Congratulations, Medyas. Great game by both players. ZVZ is just wild. It is absolutely wild. All right, let's go ahead, go to our other one. There we go. Let's fix our score. All right, so right now we're at 0 effort ZeLoT Rush with 1 win on the board. Bargain Bin Bonjwas with 1 win that we just watched. And now we're going to go into a TVT. So grab your snacks, go to the bathroom, get a cup of coffee, because we're going to gear up to watch a TVT series between Puppette and chogaling. Let me do the whole thing where I find the replay and everything. All right, Puppette, chogaling. We're going to be starting off on Radeon. Let's get into it. We'll do this one series and we'll call it a day. It's going to be a short stream. I feel like it's a little low energy too. That's my bad. It's also just like a random Thursday, so that could be part of it. But yeah. Let's get our Terran on. Fix the scoreboard. Hopefully they name themselves appropriately. Okay, so we got Puppette. I think, yeah, Puppette's representing Bargain Bin Bonjwas, and then we've got chogaling for 0 effort ZeLoT Rush. We are on Radeon. Cool. Everything should be looking Gucci. All right, we've got Puppette up here in the top right as our red Terran. We've got chogaling up here in the top left as our blue Terran. All right, let's see where they deviate on their build orders. Let's see what they're up to. Let's see what they're doing. Got Supply Depot. Excellent start for both players. SCVs. Excellent. Like, this is like the Protoss wall setup. Alright, only difference really so far is Puppette opting to wait a little bit until he throws out his scout. Now it also looks like chogaling's going to be getting a first scout off. Both players building Marine. SCV sneaking on in here is like, yep, okay, yep, there you are. Marine's gonna hang out here at the ramp. And there's the factory. Okay, so nothing crazy. We do have gas being pulled here from chogaling, so it will be an expansion after this. Gas hasn't been pulled yet for Puppette, so we'll see if he does some sort of 2 factory push. But no, it looks like he is also preparing to expand. This looks like an SCV that's going to go head out and scout. Alright, Puppette getting his CC down earlier than chogaling. 2 Marines. Just 1 Marine here. So that was actually pretty interesting, right? So, didn't pull gas, was able to get the CC down before chogaling. And that's because of the greed with going 1 Marine and also holding off to execute the scout. Alright, that Marine just kind of charges in there, goes straight into the firing line, gets knocked out by chogaling's Marines, and here we go. So a little counter push here. 2 Marines, SCV, a Vulture, CC being thrown down for our blue Terran, and there's not much. I mean, there's 1 Vulture back here. And another one that's going to be finishing up. So 2 Vultures. We'll see what this can get done. I don't imagine a whole lot. We'll see how Puppette target fires here. If these get aggroed in on the SCV, like there was a couple shots there, went to the SCV. One of the Vultures goes down for the cost of 1 Marine. So far looking good for chogaling. Knocks out the SCV that was building the CC, but CC does finish, and then this Vulture is going to be able to kind of push that one away. Vulture speed being researched here for our blue player. Second, third factories going down for our red Terran. That might be seeing a 3 factory Vulture build here. Third factory going down for our blue player as well. Little Vulture fight going on. Now, red Terran is also getting Vulture speed. Both players just making a ton of Vultures. Now, chogaling is also getting an armory. So, might be seeing Goliaths mixed in here. Might be seeing just straight up upgrades. Armor being thrown down for Puppette as well. And now we've got mines on the way for our blue player. Alright, we might be seeing some spicy little Vulture wars going on here. Neither player having made a tank yet. I mean, we got 9 Vultures here. We've got 7 Vultures here. Alright, we got 4th factory being thrown down. Mine's almost completed. +1 weapons for our red player. 4th factory. Yeah, it looks like both players kind of executing the same-ish build. Just minor tweaks. Ooh, good first volley there from Puppette. Gonna send Chogaling's Vultures on the run. Okay, now we're starting to have mines thrown out on the field for both players. Still no tanks. We are seeing Goliaths being mixed in here for our red player, and we have siege mode being researched for our blue player. Going up to 5 factories. And it looks like chogaling is going to have an advantage here with map control. Getting the mines out in the natural third expansion. Kind of mining up this avenue of approach from red. Puppette also putting some mines there. Oh, Puppette might get some free vultures here. But I'm wondering where the rest of the other vultures are. Okay, here they're coming. Ooh, but they're just going to dive in there and get knocked out. Alright, so Puppette doing a good job of keeping the vulture count low for chogaling. And let's go ahead and see what we got going on. We got 2 machine shops. We have tank production. Now we know chogaling already has siege mode. Not sure if Puppette has siege mode yet. Goliath gets taken out by mines. It's annoying to observe when there's mines all over the field. It's like, what is this? Oh yeah, that's right, it's mines. And then I'll forget in like 3 more minutes and go right back to it and be like, wait, what's this? It's just mines. It also happens while playing. It's like, where's my army? Nope, those are just mines. All right. Puppette kind of breaking out, putting the pressure onto chogaling. Tank needs to be careful. A lot of mines out here. So these vultures are able to clean them up as they pop out of the ground. A little bit of engagement. Siege tank's getting some good shots off here on these vultures. One tank goes down for chogaling. Second one being targeted by the vultures. Now all tanks have been erased from the field, and Puppette has the superior vulture count. Gonna be able to clean up. Oh, well, here comes the tank. This tank definitely gonna even the playing field here. God, vultures are so bad against tanks. It takes forever. But I think ultimately this is going to die. It does. Puppette's able to just kind of bully through with these vultures. And is he going to be able to run in and get some worker damage? That's the real question. Alright, it is able to start raining death on these SCVs. Going to kill that one vulture that's sitting there. A couple mines. Is it going to hit the tank? Oh my gosh. Absolutely huge. And Puppette is just ruining chogaling's day. Now, second tank shows up. Oh no. Okay, good. That mine was taken out before it blew up the tank and the SCV. Now it comes to upgrades. Both players are at +1 attack. Puppette is getting +1 armor. If we look at the bases, we have 5 factories here, 5 factories here. Both players macroing. Now we've got a little bit of the no man's land. We've got a little bit of a contain here on chogaling. Uh-oh, okay. Oh! Some of these mines are really scary. One of them does go off, and there we go. Both of the tanks cleared by the mines from chogaling's vultures. Always well worth it to kill your own vultures just to get some tanks. Well, at least, you know, 1 or 2. Alright, looks like another push here from Puppette being prepared. But there's a lot of tanks here, so chogaling's been doing a good job of not losing as many tanks as Puppette has. So Puppette's going to set up here in this choke. Mine up the front area a little bit, potentially. Okay, just macroing up an army back home. Right now, Puppette does have the supply advantage. Chogaling has the SCV advantage. Ooh, aggroing in these vultures. Gonna get a lot of free kills there. Here we go. Chogaling likes dropping the mines. Can this one go up? No, the vultures are able to snipe them all. But Chogaling's slowly pushing up with his tanks. Gonna be able to potentially clear this. There goes one tank down. Second one's down. Scary mine. Scary mine dies. And it looks like Chogaling's not really contained anymore. Looks like he's been able to kind of break what Puppette was throwing at him. Double armory, science vessel, getting Goliath range. Puppette kind of slowly macroing back up. Okay. I was going to point out that there was nothing being produced, but came back, did a cycle. And it looks like Chogaling able to push forward a little bit and open up this path to where he can expand. As his third base going down, looks like he might have floated it. I didn't see it being built on site. Some vultures running around, getting vision, laying down mines. Trying to regain map control. Right now, both players kind of splitting the map a little bit. Maybe a little bit closer to Chogaling's side, but Chogaling's comfy. Chogaling able to get this third base up. Has this avenue of approach that he's also mining up down here. So, it does have a way of attacking. Now, we do have Wraiths on the field for Puppette. A couple Goliaths being made for Chogaling. But not a whole lot of anti-air at the moment. Now this is going to take forever. But it's still super annoying. Up to 6 factories. Let's look at upgrades real quick. So we're at 1-1. We're at 1-1, but we have 2-2 being upgraded for our Red Terran. And no upgrades here for our Blue Terran. Alright, Wraith slowly starting to pick off tanks. Whole flood of units coming in from Puppette. But Puppette's still a little low on SCVs. Sitting at 31 SCVs at this point. Alright, Goliaths are going to come here and clean up the Wraiths. They weren't being watched at the moment. Wondering if that barracks is going to die. I think it might at this point. Oh no. Alright, barracks goes down. TVT, ladies and gentlemen. Lines of mech units staring at each other. But it looks like Puppette's doing a really good job now of regaining map control. Kind of mining out and forcing Chogaling to hang out here in the top left. Now, Chogaling is continuing to build up his army, though. And is sitting at a superior supply. But it's very supply inefficient to try to break these siege lines. So he's going to need all the help he can get to break through this. Meanwhile, a little bit of a vulnerability down here. Puppette's able to start funneling some resources down towards that third base. Might be able to knock it out. And by the way, Puppette's been sitting on 2 bases this whole time. Still has not taken a third. So Chogaling's economy and production is definitely ahead of Puppette's at this point. Big SCV transfer. Back to chilling. Yeah, Puppette's really low on SCV count. 30 SCVs to 62 for chogaling. Mine out of the main here for chogaling. Still has some minerals here for Puppette. Alright, looks like we're having a little bit of an engagement. Nothing too crazy. Just slowly creeping forward. Okay, so Puppette, though, does have superior upgrades. 2-2 is pretty significant compared to 1-1. And shoot this barracks back. And it looks like Puppette might be preparing to take this third. Has science vessels on the field. Oh, there's still a Wraith there. And Puppette's slowly catching up in supply. So, I've been talking about the worker count, but because the worker count disparity is so large, the army for Puppette's actually pretty dang big. Huge mines here. Ooh! Holy crap. 3 tanks. Down in a heartbeat. And this was earlier kind of like a point of vulnerability, I felt, but I don't know if it's definitely not as vulnerable anymore. Bringing a huge grip of siege tanks up here. Gonna knock out these Goliaths, see if they can push into this third. So far, it's looking pretty decent for Puppette. Ooh, okay. So now Chogaling's gonna need to reinforce this spot. Okay, bringing some tanks in, moving them a little close for comfort. The Wraith doing a good job of providing vision, getting the max range on these tanks. Chogaling losing a few for free. What else we got going on? We got a third base going up for Chogaling. I'm sorry, Puppette. Still sitting on 5 factories. We have 7 for Chogaling. Alright, now these vultures might get in here and get some SEV damage. Nah, they're gonna come back, aggro these Goliaths into range. Okay. This is just really just a little bit of a skirmish. I don't think this is not gonna be enough to kill. Puppette realizes that as well, kind of pulls back. Oh, it looks like might be going for a big break. I don't think this is a good idea. Oh no, they're all bunched together. Big siege coming up. Oh man, loses so many tanks. And now we're sitting at a supply disparity of 70 to 125. This is the trigger for Chogaling to start pushing, and Chogaling recognizes it, groups everything up, starts moving across. These tanks aren't sieged yet. Okay, they do get a quick siege off. Both players just slamming into each other. Now, something I want to note, we got BCs, baby. BCs being built for Chogaling, along with +1 ship weapons. Now, we also have ship weapons being researched for Puppette, and it looks like he might be going into BCs here too. Where's his science facility? Yeah. Using some tanks out here in the middle. BC on the way. I'm going to poke in here on the third base again. Mining out of the natural here for Chogaling. Now the main has finally mined out for Puppette. Those SCVs having been transferred here to the third. And now we're starting to get increased battlecruiser production. Building 2 at a time, getting additional starports. Probably going to be going up to 3 or 4 at a time. 2 more command centers actually being built somewhere. Here they are, in preparation for expansions. And chogaling's got all the money in the world to work with. Alright, we've got a couple battle cruisers out. Let's go. Set a course. We've got the eBay creeping across, getting that vision, kind of scouting ahead for the BCs. Now on this map, it's also kind of fun because you have this dead space right here. So it's a little harder to see when BCs are coming. You can't obviously plant mines here or anything. If he was to take those and just go straight across to the natural. But natural is basically mined out at this point anyway. Whole bunch of tanks. Not much Goliath support. Not a whole lot of anti-air. Now I know Puppette did have some wraiths floating around a little bit. Is starting to get his own battle cruiser. Has one on the field. But building 3 at a time for chogaling is going to be really, really powerful. Oh, good timing here from Puppette to come up here. Mine up the 12 o'clock as chogaling's floating a CC over. Sees that happen, turns it around. It's like, maybe next time. Alright, 3 BCs. What's being shot at? Oh, okay, it's the eBay. Hey, a lot just poking and probing. We do have a base going down here in the bottom right for Puppette. I like that. I kind of wish Puppette had done that or something like that earlier. He's had this map control for a very long time. Okay, eBay goes down, creeping up with the tanks just a little bit. Now we're sitting at 3-3 for Puppette, so I really like that. But you know what? BCs don't really care. Tanks can't shoot up. Got 5 here. Still sitting at 1. Doesn't look like Puppette continued production on BCs. Looks like just bringing the 1. Okay, so if he can just bring the 1, start picking off these tanks, I think his plan is to do that and use it as like a siege breaker. What I don't think he's aware of, and I'm not sure, is of all the BCs that chogaling has waiting for him. We've got 9 BCs, and this is gonna do a ton of damage. Puppette doesn't have the cash to throw this away and transition into like mass Goliaths or anything like that. Pretty broke, honestly. And I think if Puppette had more SCVs, this would be a very different game. I think sitting at 30 has really been the most punishing piece of this. Alright, here come the BCs. They're not screwing around. Targeting down the BCs of Puppette. And here we go. Puppette's just going to grab his tanks, scoop them up, send them straight in because they're not long for this world. Siege right in the middle of everything. Oh my gosh, everything is just dying. And Puppette's supply just went straight down to mid-70s. Okay, he's going to come in here. He's going to kill a bunch of SCVs that aren't doing anything. But, you know, the one thing that this is doing is it's buying some time. And you can see here the Goliath production is kicking off for Puppette. So he's got 5 in production. He's using all 5 of his factories to start getting these Goliaths. He's sending the rest of this home. And here comes the fleet. 10 BCs marching their way straight to Puppet's base. I don't know if Puppet's going to have an answer for this. Not with the cash that he has. He's going to quickly clean up some of this army here, but not get too distracted. Now I think he noticed from before, I think he came up here, maybe he scanned it, but he knows that those 2 bases aren't mining. He's going to try to hit the economy. So he's going to come down here, pick off this 3rd base. Puppette trying to get some counter damage here on the 3rd for chogaling, but not able to break this siege line. Might be able to break it up here. But he still needs an answer for this. We have Valkyries in production. Goodness, so many BCs. And they're going straight down here to the bottom left. I'm not sure if chogaling, maybe he had scanned it. I can't really tell if it was a scan or previous scouting. But I almost wish he would have just killed the main. Just kill the production. Force the GG. But he's playing whack-a-mole with all these bases, and they go down super fast. Honestly, the limiting factor here is how fast the BCs go. All these SCVs are just going to get shredded. And now there's effectively 0 income for our Red Terran. Now here come the Goliaths. This is the last-ditch effort here. Now if the Goliath can kill all the BCs, there might be a world where we could float some, you know, like a command center or something. But there's only 10 SCVs for Puppette. Puppette, I think, is dead. I don't think there's anything Puppette can do against this, especially when BC production is still underway. Oh, here comes the Valkyrie. Get it, Valkyrie. All right, good try. Goliath's running all the way back across the map. Deciding to kill an armory. Alright, so now we're on top of the production. I think, you know, Puppette's going to try to fight this with his Goliaths. Goliaths are stupid when it comes to ramps. Look at this, they're just being dumb. Might kill a couple of these BCs, but I don't know. I think with just a little bit of micro, chogaling is still going to be able to just hold this ramp. Oh no, he's getting a little close to these Goliaths. Now, Goliaths are good against BCs, so there's a world here where he could do a good amount of damage. But there's just so many. And Puppette throws in the GG. We get a GG. Everyone wake up. The TVT match is over. But we still have more games in this series. So let's go ahead and update the score sheet. We've got chogaling up 1-0 over Puppette. Whoops. Whew. That's a long one. Alrighty. Let's go into another exciting TVT match. Now, I make jokes about TVT, but I actually really do enjoy TVT. I like playing it. I think it's fun. It's very positional. A lot of big moving pieces. Everything, you know, dies super fast. Everything's kind of a glass cannon when facing off against each other. Let's go into game number 2. This one's gonna be on Polypoid. Ooh, all right, top right, Blue Terran, chogaling. Yo, what's up, Craigie? Thanks for the follow, man. Just ended up winning with mass BCs after that 30-minute match we just watched over Puppette, our Red Terran up here in the top left. Looking to keep this series going. Chogaling representing the Zero Effort ZeLoT Rush, and Puppette representing the Bargain Bin Bonjwas. Now, last game we saw both players pretty much open up the same way. About until they got to 5 factories. That's when we saw a little bit of deviation. Chogaling ended up increasing his factory count at an earlier third. And what really decided that match was just the economy differences. So, I think Puppette positionally was sitting very, very happy. Had a really strong army. His upgrades were on point, but he just couldn't continue to fund the army after each engagement. So we'll see how this goes. Yep, supply depots. Supply depots. SCVs, SCVs. Alright, well, we're at the point where we can kind of rule off any type of BBS or early game shenanigans. No gas here for Puppette. I'll be doing a barracks expand. Going for a scout. Okay, I'm a little curious about this. Does look like Puppette's going to be expanding. Last time we saw Puppette, I think only got one Marine. Actually, this might have been the same thing he did last time. No, that's not true. He got the one Marine. Well, I forgot. That was so long ago. But I remembered that Puppette was able to get his factory down earlier, but had like a different kind of like opening build sequence. Both players scouting, not finding each other on the first or second scout. It's going to be a last scout for both of them. Alright, we have pulled off the gas. Floating the barracks across. Looking to probably expand here soon. Or no, okay, getting a second factory. Okay, well, this opening 2 factory against this early CC, I feel like, is very strong for chogaling. Because if he can just start massing vultures, he could just run in here and just start schwacking all of these workers. There's 2 Marines, that's it. He already has a vulture out. If you were to walk across with this, he'd be already able to do so much damage. But if left unpunished, Puppette's going to have a little bit of an economic lead. And really start surging like tanks or something with the gas he's been saving up. Okay, here we go. Initial move across. Now the bunker's going to complete in time. We'll see if chogaling runs by with the vultures or just turns around. Okay, turns around. Now the vultures do get shredded pretty fast, so they probably maybe not have been able to get by that anyway. Okay, going 1-1-1. Getting a starport here. eBay. Yeah, seeing a different style here from Puppette. Alright, getting 2 starports. This is interesting. Let's see how this goes. Alright, the barracks is going to float in here. Not going to see much going on here at the natural, but it will be able to get into the main. And there will be a point where he's able to see these starports. Looks like we're going to be building a turret here by the production. And this might actually shoo away the barracks. This looks like he's trying to get this barracks, prevent it from seeing what's going on here. Oh, and we do see a direction change. Doesn't look like Chogaling's going to be able to see these starports going down. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. At this rate, he will. Okay, he sees them. Alright, so let's see what the reaction is. We're getting Goliaths. So he already had his armory down, getting the Goliaths up. We'll likely see some turrets being placed. Yep, we got a turret here in the main, turret here in the natural. Getting Cloak, getting the 2-port Wraith up and running, and going for a quick third. Alright, so the barracks has been knocked out, but we did get a third factory placed before that happened. And this bunker and vulture holding back all of this is really interesting to me. I feel like there's definitely a run by opportunity. Now there's a tank out, maybe not so much anymore. Alright. Couple turrets. Turrets, very good against Wraiths. Goliaths, very good against Wraiths. Don't know if the Wraiths are going to be able to do a whole lot. But they will be able to prevent Chogaling from putting those resources towards tanks early. Meanwhile, Puppette's getting his own tanks. Alright, Wraiths are heading across. They're going to run into this turret. I don't think they're going to get a whole lot done. Anti-air defense is pretty good here. Alright, continuing to pump out Wraiths. Continuing to pump out tanks. Ooh. A little bit of a dangerous spot here for the Wraiths. Able to deny that turret, though, is pretty big. Gonna be able to sit here at the choke of the natural, cloaked, start plinking off some of these units. Need to be careful. There goes the energy on one of them. Oh no, and the Goliaths are gonna come up and snipe it real fast. Okay, I think the Wraith play might be done, right? It's time to just use those for vision, denying expansions, like keeping an eye out on SCVs and stuff. Meanwhile, for Puppette, going for a third base. Accidentally overshot, looks like. Backtracking, going back to it. Okay, it looks like Wraith production has kind of stopped. We're getting the science facility. No armory yet for Puppette. Last game, Puppette superior on upgrades for the majority of the game. Playing a different style this time. Doesn't quite have the upgrades. But I don't think Chogaling has been upgrading much either. So both sitting at 0-0. And this third base, oh man. Catching the tanks a little out of position. I don't know if they have siege. They have siege. Turns out, siege confirmed. Alright. Chogaling gonna have to send his army back, regroup a little bit. And we're gonna get that third base down for Puppette. I think Puppette might have an opportunity here to start going dropships. I mean, yeah, there's pretty good anti-air defense, though. So if not dropships, then at least start adding some factories. Has a lot of money to play with. I think he's been focusing a lot on the Wraith micro. So turrets up here at the third. Looks like Chogaling is preparing to expand. Puppette's making a little bit more workers this time. Which if he plays like he did last game, with an increased economy, I think he'll be sitting really pretty. Unfortunately, a bit supply blocked. Throwing down some supply depots. And a third starport. Holy crap. Okay, and then we have 2 CCs going down somewhere. For our blue player. We got 1 here and 1 here. So Chogaling preparing to expand. We saw this last game too. He built 2 in like his main or natural. And then floated them out. Feels very StarCraft 2-esque. Alright, scan goes down here. He sees that Puppette's not on a 4th base. He also sees that the siege is still here. Wow, we're going straight into battle cruisers. Alright. So Puppette losing last game to chogaling's battle cruisers has decided to flip the script, get his own very early. And there's already a lot of Goliaths here, though. I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's not the case, but I feel like going Wraiths earlier on kind of set up his opponent to defend against battle cruisers in a weird way. 3 battle cruisers at a time. Puppette a little gas starved right now. It's one of the disadvantages of taking the all mineral base as your 3rd. It's more easily defendable, but you do run into situations like this, and this is why I was kind of saying earlier, if he can increase this factory count, he can at least start pumping out vultures like there's no tomorrow. Have them all over the map, placing mines. Now he is going to be getting another gas down here in the bottom left. And there hasn't really been any attention put down that way by chogaling as of yet. Chogaling sending his CCs on an adventure, heading down south. Has a nice little outpost set up here. And now Puppette's going to start poking around. Not bad. Gets a free tank. Now, if he's able to catch these CCs as they're flying around, that would be golden. Alright, what do we got going on here in the main? 4 starports! Okay, we're going to have our first BCs popping out here. We have 2 right there, a 3rd one. Oh man, he just has so many minerals. TBT. TBT is fun. It allows for some weird stuff like this to happen. Because the thing is in like TBT, attacking is so costly. Like defense is so much stronger than offense in TBT. So you end up with like these huge kind of like periods of time where not much is happening. And it allows you the opportunity to do weird surprises like this. Just transition to full air, or get a bunch of drop ships, or get these random hidden bases. But chogaling about to start firing on all cylinders here. Does have the CC that he can also go land. Might have been forgotten about. Puppette not playing around this time. Plenty of battle cruisers. 3 at a time. Now, chogaling has been producing Goliaths, though. He's getting another armory down. Gonna start working on upgrades. Where are we on upgrades? So he's at +1 upgrades for his ground forces. 0-0 for Puppette, but does have +1 air weapons. Alright, here we go. CC going down here to the bottom right. Whole bunch of ground forces. This is going to be interesting. I think we're actually almost setting up for like a base trade scenario. But there is a good amount of tanks here. We'll see how he uses these BCs. If he just goes straight for the jugular and tries to knock out bases and production. Or if he tries to use them to kill the army. And then clean up afterwards. Yeah, we are sitting at a pretty heavy SCV disparity again. Chogaling sitting at 73 SCVs across 4 bases. Well, 5, I guess, once this lands. And then 44 for Puppette, which is a little bit of a trend. We saw that kind of situation play out last game. Now, I'm wondering what the trigger is here for Puppette. He's got a lot of BCs. Still building them, 3 at a time. +2 air weapons. Now we're starting to get weapons here for chogaling as well. So chogaling also preparing to go BCs. As a Terran player, I hate that stage of the game. I do not like playing with BCs. It's just not fun for me. Alright, Wraith flying around. They're picking off some of these tanks. Alright, looks like we're starting to get a push. Here we go. Action! I also want to point out there's some vultures down here. It's going to be cleaning up the SCVs here in the bottom left. The race will knock it out, but I imagine that there might be some more vultures following up. Okay, now these BCs need to be careful. Now the tanks, this is a great combo, right? Because BC is good against everything, but very fragile to a bunch of Goliaths. Tanks, very good against Goliaths. Mottoing the crap out of these Goliaths, thinning their numbers. And we're seeing 4 BCs being built at a time by chogaling. It's going to be just a full-on BC on BC battle. And we have the slow push beginning. Now, there's not enough Goliaths here to really deal with this. Additional BCs coming in. Oh no, he's going to lose all these tanks. Okay, he's scanned, he's aware. Okay, now we're about to see a massacre of tanks. BCs are about to just have so much fun here. Very target-rich environment, just crushing. Yamatoing the turret. This is now where Puppette can just start rolling through this. Now, for chogaling, where are we at? We have 2 BCs, we've got 4 Goliaths, we got a few more BCs being produced, but not really ready. We got 4. It's kind of tough against 9. And we might, okay, so maybe this whole series is just who can get more BCs faster. Okay, aggroing the BCs into the turrets. And here come the tanks. You know, honestly, I don't know the answer to that. I would imagine maybe not, just because BCs can shred Wraiths so much. I feel like Goliaths are probably the cost-effective unit. Because it's not like cloaking them is going to help much, because at this point in the game, usually there's tons of scans. Oof. I don't even know what to say. Like, this is just a ton of BCs, a ton of tanks. Puppette's going to roll through. We do have a good amount of BCs here, but only 6. To the what? The at least 12? Alright, here we go. Yamato's being fired off. Skadoosh. So much money, too. Alright, Puppette's starting to close in on the production. Once he starts knocking down these starports, there's really not going to be much here. He's still continuing to build BCs back at home. Okay, so chogaling, sending his BCs. Oh, I thought maybe he would try to go to the other base. I mean, I guess that doesn't make sense. But if he can pick off BCs one at a time like this, what I'd like to see is a bunch of Goliaths being made. And maybe that's wrong? I don't know. But anything that can shoot up, I would just be surging on. Chogaling looks like he's building a couple more starports going down here in the bottom right. Because he still does have effective bases, especially this 3 o'clock. But his production is going to die at some point. I think he knows that. Puppette just picking off these BCs as they come out. GG. That's a lot of BCs. Ugh, man. All right, so we're sitting at 1-1, which means we get to see another TVT. And not only that, but potentially another battle cruiser TVT. Let's go ahead and take a look at our big screen here for just a second. Cool. Let's update this. 1-1. All right, next game, it's going to be the last of the day, and it's going to be for all the marbles, right? We got Bargain Bin Bonjwas and Zero Effort ZeLoT Rush, both sitting at 1 win in this half of the Tier 3, right? There's a whole other half of this group that I'm not going to be casting right now. We're just doing 3 of the series, but there's 6 series total, and we'll see kind of where they sit. So no matter what, like, no matter who wins this, it's not an indication of the totality of the tier, because there's a whole nother half to do. But let's go ahead and find the replay. Exit replay, exit replay. Yep. Okay. And then let's go into the last match of the day. TVT. Probably battle cruisers, which is what we're all here for. Let me change this to Eclipse. We're on Eclipse this time. Alrighty, so up here in the top right, we got chogaling, our blue Terran. Down here in the bottom left, we've got Puppette, our red Terran. Both players have shown a love for the BC. Turns out BCs are good. Sorry, just checking on a couple things. And it looks like I missed nothing. Waiting for supply depots to be made. See if there's any cheesy nonsense. This is Eclipse after all. 2-player map. Supply depot down for chogaling. And a supply depot down for Puppette. Alright, well there goes our hopes of a BBS. Okay, this seems interesting though, because we still have no barracks, we have no gas, we've got an SCV leaving the base a little early. Oh, maybe we're not out of the woods on the cheesiness. Okay, now we have a gas and barracks, so Puppette playing it a little bit more standard. On his way to BCs, no doubt. And chogaling. Still no barracks. Okay, we're about to see some... Oh, never mind. Never mind, we're seeing a command center. Oh, but we're also seeing an SCV kind of hide up here towards the top of the ramp. in plain view. But he's going to come back in, see what's up. Sees the gas. Getting the barracks down after the CC. So CC first. Into gas. Where's this guy going? You know what I'm wondering here with Puppette, and I've done this before, is if you didn't remember you were on Eclipse, scouting like it's a 4-player map. I've totally done that. Like, okay, let's go up here. Oh, that's a weird spot. Oh, it's because I'm on Eclipse. Let's go to the actual main now. I bet you that might have been what just happened. Alright, bunker being built. First Marine getting sent out. Expansion underway. Okay, so very standard, just kind of opening here for Puppette. We do have gas. Okay, yeah, just chilling. But still no factory here for chogaling. Chogaling? I'm trying to remember if chogaling did this last match. I might have them mixed up. One of them did kind of like an early CC build. And the problem with it was that they were so vulnerable to like an early vulture flood. It just wasn't capitalized on. Which, to be fair, it's a tight window and you gotta see that it's happening. Alright, SCV is gonna come down here and poke in again. Got 2 vultures. Throwing down 2 factories, 3 factories. Oh, so dead. SCV gone. Second factory here for Puppette. And both players just powering up. Doing the thing. Ooh, a 4th factory. We still have gas? Yeah, we do. Have an armory. No add-ons. Oh, okay, there's the add-on. Okay, this looks like a potential push. There we go. I wonder if he's going to send any SCVs with it. Nope, just on its own. Alright, here we go. Straight across the map. 2 vultures, 7 marines, 1 tank. And this is kind of what I was talking about earlier with this early CC build. There's a window where it's kind of vulnerable. Alright, 2 vultures on 1. 2 wins most of the time. The marines are going to come up here, schwack one of them. And here comes the push. It's going to continue forward. There's not a whole lot here. 2 marines, a Goliath, and a vulture. Well, looks a little dangerous here for chogaling. And we have siege. So definitely in a bad spot. Ooh, Goliath goes down. Vulture barely hanging on to life here. Now we have 4 factories, but I don't know if we can really fund full production out of them right now. Should be able to. And this bunker is going to go down. This looks very, very scary for chogaling. I think Puppette might be able to just move through here. 1 Goliath, 2 Marines, not enough for this force. Bringing the tank up as well. And we're going to start schwacking these SCVs. Okay, a little bit of derp in here on the ramp, but it doesn't matter. 2 tanks and a whole bunch of Marines is enough for Puppette to seal the deal and secure the series. GG's. GG's. Alright, so that is going to give Puppette the 2-1 victory over chogaling. I think, right? Did I get that wrong? Who won? Yeah, it was chogaling, right? No, yeah, it was chogaling. Not Puppette. Crap, hold on. Who just won that? I can't believe I can't remember. I'm really struggling here with these two's names. Okay. Awesome. Puppette won. Okay, so Puppette's going to seal the deal for the Bargain Bin Bonjwas. They are going to take this half of the tier 2-1 over the zero effort ZeLoT Rush. These were great games. Very different games, right? We had like a normal length ZVT. We had a hyper fast ZVZ and a pretty long series TVT with a lot of BCs that we got to see. So that was a lot of fun. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm going to find someone to raid, and then we'll do our CPL anthem, and we will get back to our wonderful Thursday. Let me go ahead and see. Is there any recommendations? Anyone out there that we should potentially raid? There wasn't a whole lot of Starcraft going on today. We got 80s Mullet. We got Blackman. Okay, let's raid Blackman. He just went live, and he raided us last time. So let's go ahead, get that going, and then let's do our anthem. Let's get the hell out of here, eh? Where's the anthem song? Here it is, everybody. Oh, if K1 is on. Well, let me do Black.
Rise and losers fall, reflexes sharp, minds and floor. Gamers play, this never ends.
So much fun. Thanks for hanging out. I apologize. I feel like this was a little bit of a lower energy cast. Don't know why. But anyway, we'll be back sometime this week. Maybe even finish up the tier if another streamer doesn't catch it. And then tune in on Saturday. And we should have Breeze and I think Staged casting a whole bunch of games. Tier 3 and Tier 4 of the other two teams, which is Big Naturals and Build Disorders. So we haven't done any of theirs, and it should be good. And yeah, I think that was Javier that did that. It's up in the air. Some people say it's AI. I think it's Javier. That's what people say. It's old Javi that did that. So anyway, I'm kind of stalling because I need to figure out how to raid. Oh, it looks like it just raided. Cool. Let me double check. Yep. Raid now.